Hi there. Today I'm gonna make a voiceover of my video. Because of the high winds, the audio wasn't good enough. So here today we're gonna plant a cherry tree. All we need is a shovel and a hoe, a hammer, a stake, and some old fertilizer, animal fertilizer. So let's start the process. Here we have marked the area we want the tree, and we're gonna start digging it with a spade. The first few levels, the first few inches are a bit soft, but when we come to the clay, it's hard as rock. So we will have to use the hoe. As you can see, the clumps are there. We have to bury all the soil in the pot, to the surface of the level. So we have to keep the top layer of the pot same with the surface of the field. We continue digging and we'll soon come to the clay. As a lot know that clay is very hard, and this year it hadn't rained a lot, so we'll use the hoe to open up the hole a bit larger, so we can dig a bit deeper. As you can see, the hole has grown to an adequate size, and soon we can calculate if it's at the right depth. We're gonna remove a few more clumps at the base, and we're gonna check if it's good. We tap the pot a couple of times and it will drop off. And as we can see, it's perfectly aligned with the surface of the field. But before we plant it, we have to remove a few inches from the base of the pot of the soil. One, because it's compacted, and usually by removing a bit, it will aerate the roots and help them develop more and reduce the risk of being root bound. Plants and trees in pots usually develop a habit of being root bound, and when we remove the 1 inch layer, it will open up the roots and therefore it will help them spread evenly. As you can see, the roots are still there, they are undamaged, and next we're gonna put some organic fertilizer. This is from sheep, which was left to decompose for around 3 years, so it's not very harsh and acidic. And next we're gonna put the tray. Never use synthetic fertilizers or fresh fertilizers on new trees, as it will burn away the new roots. Always let at least 1 year pass before you use any synthetic fertilizers or fresh fertilizer. You always have to let the fertilizer sit so that it will compose a bit. Here we are filling the rest of the hole with the fertilizer I have, so it doesn't go to waste, and we'll top it off with the soil. Now we have to compress it a bit, so that if there are any air pockets, we remove them. We don't need air pockets with the roots, so it's a good idea to compress it a bit. We don't need to go extremes, we just need to step a bit on it a bit. Next, we have to put a stake. Now the important trick of a stake is that it has to be pointing towards the prominent wind. Here we are mostly on a northern wind, so the stake have to be pointing at a 45 degrees towards the north wind. And also it is important that we tie the stake to the tree to the stake, just below the branches. The branches don't have to be tied down, and I will explain why. When branches are tied down to a stake, the branches won't move in the wind, and this will cause the tree not to develop any roots, as it's stable. But when you remove the stake, the tree won't have any basic spread of the roots. It will usually have a ball of roots, and so it will lose stability. And trees like these, usually, when the stake is removed, will drop down when it rains a lot, and the soil become flooded. So it's best to tie below the branches and let the branches move freely in the wind. When the branches move in the wind, the tree sends a signal to the roots to develop more, as it is moving in the wind. Therefore, the roots will spread and offer a basis, as more stable base. So here we remove all the ties it came with from the shop. It's always best to remove her, so that we don't forget any and we end up girdling the tree. When a tree becomes girded, usually there are small hopes that it will survive, because usually when the wire or the rope gets in the bark, the tree cannot take up nutrients. And here we tie it in a loop so that we can use it or loosen it more when we need. I'm gonna fix the burrow now so it doesn't stay compacted, so that when it rains, water will permeate. Cherries do not like to be in soil which is nearly most of the year wet, soggy. So therefore, it's ideal if you either mound up or hill the soil next to the stalk, where there is the main trunk, and even during winter, remove airy burrows we do. I'm just doing the burrow just to show you, so you'll have an idea how we do it. It's easy, and it will help collect any rainwater that falls down. As you can see, the soil is loose, and we just form a donut around the tree. We are mounding, as already said, around the trunk of the tree, so it will always have a high area. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. Thanks, and see you soon.